Good evening. Welcome to the May 9th Selectmen meeting. We do have a quorum. First order of business and the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes of April 11th, 2017 meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any changes, discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Edward Kranich, are you here?
Yes.
Would you mind coming up to the mic?
I
Thank you.
apologize for last month. I didn't realize that you wanted me to.
Yeah,
show
we
up at
actually
the
want to
meeting.
know who you are. Can you
Okay.
imagine that?
I thought it was just a smoke-filled room with a yay or nay.
Can you give us a little background on yourself
Sure.
and why you're interested in the planning board?
When I graduated from college, I worked for about a year and a half in a planning office. And after that, I worked in civil construction, mostly infrastructure, highways, bridges, railroads, and lately transmission for power lines. I'm about to retire soon, so I'd like to use what I've learned over the years and try to give back to my community.
How long have you lived in Raymond?
2 years.
What do you know about the town and development?
Well, yeah, I've read the plan of development for the town. I like the way it is. I like the open space. You have a very nice environment, especially the forest areas that the town maintains along with the Loon Echo Land Trust. And it just seems like a nice community. It's near, areas where I like to be, this part of Maine.
Questions?
Are you familiar, have you read the shoreline zoning?
Yes.
What is your commentary on that?
Well, it's a good thing. I've lived a lot of my life in Connecticut, and I've seen what happened to the few lakes that we had down there, the eutrophication, the just overcrowding them, and you have runoff and septic discharge, and it just turns them into green swamps.
Yeah.
So I think you have nice, clean lakes, even the ones that are relatively developed, and I think it's a good idea to try to, hold back a little on the development.
That's the right attitude.
Ralph, any questions?
No, it looks good to me.
Can I have a motion?
Move to appoint.
Second?
Moved and seconded. You ready for this, Mr. Kranich?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All those in favor? Unanimous? Congratulations and thank you for coming.
Condolences.
First meeting's tomorrow, so you're...
Yeah, there you go. Make sure you go up to the town hall and get sworn in before your meeting.
Okay, I will.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And Dawn, his appointment papers.
Yep, okay.
I think I put everything on.
All right, thank you. See how smooth that went, Owens?
I have no power, I have no presentations. I don't have a dongle. Whatever that is.
All right, next is a presentation of Main Street Sidewalk Project, and Owens, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Fair enough. So this project, we've been in front of the Board of Selectmen and had a couple of public meetings a year ago, or maybe a little more than a year ago. It's a section that runs from Route 21 down to the Route 302 intersection of Main Street, about 2,300 feet, 0.4 miles. It's actually a state-owned right-of-way, and there's a program, local project administration, where you can put in a request to the state to get the funds to do safe routes for sidewalks. The state originally approved this for the town. Town put in an application. It was approved at about, I think, $180,000 or something in that range. We did some preliminary planning and costing on it and talked with DOT, and it became pretty apparent that we were going to be way short of having enough money to do the project. The project's really probably closer to $350,000, $380,000. So going back to the state, we said that, at this point we'll probably not go forward with it. The state has since come back and said that they will look to fund the whole project with a 20% match by the town on all these locally administered projects. The towns put in 20%, the state funds 80% out of their safe routes, safe harbor routes for sidewalks and pedestrians. So the state came back, offered a revised agreement for a local administered federal aid project. The agreement puts forth an upper limit for design work of $44,000. We go through what they call PS&E plan specifications and estimates that goes through a preliminary design. The state takes those with an updated cost estimate and then funds the project. So time-wise, we would be looking to do the design work for the project over 2017. The state hopefully would then fund it for construction in 2018. That's at least what the conversations I've had with Mike LaBerge up at the state has been.
So when you
around.
say 2018, you mean July of 2018, that
Yeah.
fiscal year?
Correct. So what has to happen at this point, the way this works is, since this has federal money in it, when you go into construction, it's a little different than a normal town construction project because we have to meet Davis-Bacon wage rates. You have to have a very specific protocol around testing and documenting the project. There has to be wage rate interviews. We'll take care of a lot of that. It's a much more, because it's got federal dollars in it, it's a little more involved on the construction side of it, but that's built into the budgeting within the project. And at this point, I think what my understanding is that this would go to the town for a vote, I think at the town meeting. If it's approved, then the town would sign this rather lengthy agreement to locally administer the project. The town would go forward with it. Now, if the town got, I always bring this up, if the town got halfway through the design or planning of the project and said, you know, we've changed our mind, we don't want to go forward with this, you can walk away from it, but any money that the state put into it in the cost share, the town would have to pay that back. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. We've already done the right-of-way survey down on this section. That was done a year ago. We know where the right-of-way is. We've had some discussion around which side of the road to put the sidewalk on. At this point, we're looking to put it on the easterly side of the road, the uphill side of it. From a drainage, from a construction standpoint, it makes more sense to put it up on that side. But we did, I think we had, boy, it may have been closer to a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, we had a public meeting, but we showed options for both sides of the road. It was my opinion that the uphill side of the road made more sense. If it's on the downhill side of the road, you have to build a sidewalk up with curb and a sidewalk. So the folks that are very close to the right-of-way on the downhill side, the westerly side of the road, it would have more visual and grading impact onto those properties, whereas if it's on the uphill side, I have a better chance to blend it in to the land contours.
How far down does the sidewalk go from 302 to where?
It goes all the way down to the intersection of 121.
Does it turn to the library at all?
No, it's right now, it's the budgeting and the plan is to end it right there. We have had some discussion with Nathan. So it's interesting because, I'm glad you brought this up, Joe, because when you get down to that intersection, there's those two businesses that are right there on the corner, and their curb cut is wide open. The people currently pull in and park in there. So DOT generally, I've been through this a few times, and they like to try to tighten up those curb cuts as much as they can, and so that it's good for the pedestrians not to have that opening, but it's difficult for the businesses on the parking side. So Nathan and I have talked about possibly going up between where Public Works is now, the old fire station. There's actually a pathway up to the library, and that makes some sense to take the sidewalk and bring it up that way
Down that
instead of
path.
around
Those
the
make
corner,
sense, yeah.
I think. And then I preserve the parking, but DOT, eventually I'll have to fine tune the
Yeah.
concept, and there'll be some back and forth with them.
And if something ever changed in the future, of course, we could, say we decided to do something together with the library and consolidate the lots, it would be very easy to reverse the pathway sidewalk to the library on the Public Works, along the Public Works property, and then you could bring it around on the road if you wanted to at a future date.
Certainly. So that's the project. Again, it'll probably be a 2018, July of 2018. My guess is something like this would probably take a better part of 3 months to build. There'll be some subsurface drainage that has to be installed with curbing. There's already subsurface drainage. It's in pretty rough condition. Nathan and I, we did the lower end of the road earlier, but we've held off on this end because of this opportunity.
So, along with, of course, the pedestrian element of it, we're going to have the improved drainage, as you said, and of course the side pieces also, when you put in the sidewalk and curbing, you know, you end up with by default, a traffic calming. It slows traffic, it improves safety, and so that's just the visual look of that is going to, it won't be narrower, but it will feel narrower for drivers, and it will have the effect of slowing them.
Don's right. We often see that if you build it wide, flat, and long, people drive to the conditions that they're comfortable with. When we see curb and sidewalk and little narrower roads, it tends to act as some natural traffic calming. It doesn't preclude somebody who behaves badly and drives down through there, but for the most part, it does help with that. It would have vertical curb. They call it slip-form concrete curb. It's an extruded concrete curb that runs down, and then a 5-foot wide bituminous sidewalk. Pretty standard of what you would see in a residential setting.
5 foot wide by what, did you say?
5-foot wide sidewalk by running the whole length of the road.
A standard sidewalk.
Yeah,
Yes.
bituminous, one of those
Yes.
black sidewalks.
Asphalt.
Asphalt.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And the curbing would be what?
Concrete curbing. It's
Okay, so that'd be something different than they've done down on 302.
Okay.
Correct, on 302, there's granite
We need
and
Yeah, we need you on the mic if you're gonna ask
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
questions.
sorry.
And
That's
the
okay.
public comment, yeah.
The slip-form concrete curb is being used a lot more. It's a pretty durable product. It's quite a bit less expensive, less costly than granite curb. Slip-form's about $10 a foot. Granite curb is $35, $37, on approaching $40 a foot. So there's a big cost difference. And on a road like this, 2,300 feet times another $30 a foot, it adds up very quick.
Any questions from the select board?
So we'll have to meet Davis Bacon. We also gonna have to meet the drug-free workplace, and if we do, then who's in charge of the drug testing and enforcement on that?
that'd be the contractor.
That's the contractor. You don't have to administer that. The contractor has to fill out forms for equal opportunity employment. They have to post some information. They have to have safety plan in place. They have to have I believe they do have to have a drug plan in place within their operating. It's that drug-free
Yeah.
program, but they administer that. Our obligation is to make sure that they have signed and filled the paperwork out that says they comply with those requirements. And then the only physical check that we have to do is we have to do wage weight interviews. So when a contractor, when they're out there working, we approach a worker, ask for his or hers job position and what their rate of pay is, and if they get benefits or not, because there's a whole protocol around that. And then they have to submit certified payrolls with all of their work, and the DOT uses a software called Elations, and it's all electronic and gets uploaded into a database. And so we check it, DOT checks it.
And this will go out to bid, obviously.
It has to,
Right.
yes.
Will that be, it won't be sequestered small business, will it, or will it?
No, it's open bid.
Okay, because typically if you're under $500,000 on a Fed contract, then they try to impose that from time to time.
I haven't had that happen to me on these. We do get WBE and DBE goals
Mm-hmm.
in it. Maine's goals are fairly low because we just don't have the WBEs or the DBEs. I mean, if I get 1% or 2% on a job, I'm pretty lucky. It's just amazing. I was down at a conference, Washington D.C., and some of the states, like Pennsylvania and New York and a few of the others, they have goals of like 30%.
Mm-hmm.
But the demographics are there to support it. We just don't have it, so I guess we get a little bit of a pass.
Now, if you're going on that side of the road, you're laying essentially right over the water line. Or
Yeah.
how
Yeah, the water line
offset are you to
runs-
the water line?
Water line's in the road.
The water line's in the road, it's right in the travel lane.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll come to the edge of the existing travel lane, and they'll saw cut it the whole, well, we're gonna saw cut probably in some areas, we may go all the way out into the center of the road because of the way the drain lines will have to run through the road and put the catch basins in. But but generally the sidewalk and the curbing will be a continuation from the edge of the current travel pavement over 5 feet.
Say anything? Rob? What's that? Anyone from the
Thank you for the
public?
questions.
You need to go up to the mic and state your name and voice whatever you want to voice.
Glenn Geisel, 7 Main Street. Just a couple of concerns that I don't know if they've been addressed or not. Number one is the snow removal. How is snow going to be removed without putting it on residents' lawn, particularly mine? There's the rock wall, stone wall, there's no place to put it but in the road. And that seems to be an issue. The other issue is what about ATV traffic, dirt bikes? You can't keep them off the sidewalk now. They go right up and down the middle of the road. And traffic, they don't know what speed limit is on Main Street now. The sheriff is having a problem enough enforcing traffic now. How is this going to help slow down traffic?
Well, snow removal, I think I'll let Nathan talk about snow removal.
Never give that a whole lot of thought down by your place, Glenn. I don't know what we do with it. It'll probably have to be hauled off.
There's another expense.
ATV, traffic, dirt bikes, sidewalks, the pedestrian sidewalks, I can't, that's an enforcement issue. We can try to sign it. We can try to keep them off of it. Hopefully people will pay attention to that, but nobody, without standing somebody there, I don't know how you could enforce that. They're not allowed within the public right of way, so that is a enforcement issue. The speed issue through there, so the sidewalk certainly won't add to speed. If anything, the sidewalk will help reduce the speed because it'll have a vertical curve and a sidewalk, and there won't be that shoulder, so it'll feel a little smaller. And we typically see that with curb and sidewalk, that the traffic slows down a little bit. Now, if people are still speeding through there, again, that's unfortunately.
It's 25 miles an hour through there.
Yeah.
No, it isn't, it's 50.
Well, no, it's speed limit's 25. People go 50. On the snow removal, is that going to be part of the, contract we have
be
to
added
clean
to
the
the contract,
sidewalks?
yes.
We're not going to expect people to clean the sidewalks.
No.
That will be part of
added
the
to
town responsibility.
Yes, that'll be added
Yeah.
to the contract.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not something that I guess that you've thought through,
Well,
because it's different perhaps than 302.
Correct.
But it's not something that's unique to the world. I mean,
No.
towns and cities have sidewalks, and so it's just a matter of logistically coming up with a plan that will satisfy our needs and the residents' needs, and I'm sure that that's not unique.
Right now, he's dumping it, when he snow blows, he's blowing it right beside the sidewalk, within 2 or 3 feet to the side.
Right?
That's typical all over Maine most of the time,
Or blowing it into a truck.
or blowing it into a truck. That is,
You know,
That's
one of-
less typical.
in rural areas like this, that's less typical. Cities do that.
Right.
Yeah, that's how they do it in the city.
Okay.
On the speed through there, one thing about sidewalks are their objective is to get the traffic out of the travel way and onto a sidewalk. So instead of somebody walking down where the vehicles are going, they have a vertical curb and a sidewalk, a barrier, so that it is safer for the pedestrians, which is the
Right.
whole program here.
State your name and
Kevin Simpson, 19 Main Street. Just some questions here. Are the plans available to look at, or drawings or anything that we can see?
All we've done today is a right-of-way survey, which I'll make sure Dawn has another copy of, because it's been a while since we've done this. And we did some very early on sketch plans just to get a general sense of what a sidewalk might look, and I'll certainly provide those to Dawn, and somebody can take a look. I was going to try to connect to the projector, but it didn't work tonight, so.
I'm curious because I have a fence that runs along, and also I have a sewer line that runs under the road to my leach field across the street.
Okay.
I have a letter from the DOT. I forget what it's called. They basically say,
Drainage, it's a type of drainage easement. I know which one that is.
they say it's a term they don't care.
Basically, correct.
Right, but they don't care until the day they have to dig up the road, and then I might care.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure if in the planning and the discovery would something like that come up, or if that was going to be an issue. You talked about some additional drainage.
So the drainage that I'm referring to is replacing the catch basins and underground piping that's on that side of the road. If you have a drainage line down there, the more information we have, sometimes we can't pick up every single piece of
Okay.
underground, but any information you have concerning yours, if you can get it to Nathan or Dawn, we'll take it, because we want to,
Okay.
you know, the goal is not to cut through your sewer line.
We've got a couple of those in town, throughout town, and when we go along and rebuild a town road, we've, on 2 of them, we've put a piece of pipe in the ground, a conduit right beside it, so if anything were ever to fail, you'd have a clean shot without having to cut the road
Okay.
open. Little different rules on a town road than there are in state, but
Okay.
those things can get done pretty easy, I think.
And then finally, the 5 feet from so if you're looking at the white line that's currently painted on that side of the road,
The
is
fog
that,
line, yeah.
is that roughly where the curb would begin, or is it 5 feet from that line, or hard to say?
Well, this road isn't classified, one of the things I'm fortunate about is this road isn't classified as like an urban collector or sub-collector, because it's actually classified as a town road within the DOT right-of-way. It's a long story, but they have different classifications for roads. So I'm fortunate in that it gives me some flexibility on the width of the road. Generally, we try to match the existing width of the road, so we're not making it any less. And if I can have 11, 12, 13 feet of road width, we'll try to maintain that. We haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
We figured it out, but it certainly wouldn't be any closer than the white line that's there right now.
Okay. I'm curious, from that white line to my fence is just this 10 million metric tons of sand and gravel from however many winters.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if my fence would have to move, if it would have to come out, or just trying to get a sense of where I would measure from, but
I wish I could answer that for you.
Okay.
I just don't know yet.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly.
Kim.
Hi, Kimberly Williams, 32 Main Street. First, I'd like to ask if this goes forward, could we be notified about different meetings? Because at the first public meeting, I think it was Danielle had said oh, we'll keep you informed, and I know she's not there now, but I've called the town office a few times to see how this was progressing, and nobody's ever gotten back to me. And then I just wanted to say that somebody hit my house in their car, so just because there's a sidewalk does not necessarily mean you're going to be safe.
Can I answer? If you call the town office and you want to know about this, call and talk to me. Leave a message for me. I will get back to you immediately. I also want to tell you that this, came about rather quickly, the change in the grant funds, and it was uncertain, and so I do apologize. We didn't really anticipate this to go this way. We actually thought at a staff level the project was probably done because of the significant cost difference from what we had thought and what it turned out to be, and so it was a big surprise to get the additional, significant grant funds from the Maine Department of Transportation, and so pleasant surprise. And so that's a big part of the problem with this, is that it was uncertain for a long time, and I suppose it's still uncertain because it's going to require a town vote and so forth. So I do apologize. We didn't anticipate it was going to go this way, really. 2 years ago.
Judy Geisel, 7 Main Street. And I have a couple of concerns. I'd like to invite you to come on Halloween and sit in my yard and watch what happens. And the other part is, most of you know that Glenn owns a business, and I sit out at the picnic table in the summer, and other than answering the phone for his business, I took a survey of how many people walk, ride their bikes, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, all of that. And there are weeks that go by that there aren't more than maybe 1 or 2 people that walk on that road or use a bicycle. So my concern is, why do we have to have a sidewalk so that my neighbors can ride their extra vehicles up and down the road, in and out of the cars? And we can't seem to do anything about it. I know that's not your problem, but it is one of our problems. So that's what I have to say.
I mean, when the 302 sidewalk was put in, there was a lot of doubt that people would use it, and now it's used all the time.
From where?
302? From
where?
From the Good Life Market, actually further down, and they walk all the way.
From Raymond Beach
Yeah,
down to the
Raymond
town
Beach.
line.
No, not from Raymond Beach.
Well, I used it this weekend and I saw people out there. It was
Yeah.
used, so yeah.
From up in 85 too.
So.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm Bruce Peavy, 35 Main Street. I would be on the affected side, unfortunately. I have a couple of questions. Owen, you said, is that your name, Owen?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I didn't know who you were when you just started talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, a couple of items. The plowing, do you have to buy a piece of equipment to plow that sidewalk?
We subcontract it out. We don't even own a piece of equipment to do the 302 stuff. That's all under a contract.
So what happens when they go across my lawn, which will be sidewalk, and get to my driveway? Is that snow going to be deposited?
They're very careful on all the stuff they've done on 302 to make sure driveways are clear. They usually, well, under the contract, they have to do it within 24 hours, and he's usually the day after the storm, so all the driveways are clear, and he cleans up behind himself as he goes through. I haven't had any trouble yet with either one of the contractors, and those sidewalks have been in for 11, 12 years now. We've had really good luck with both contractors that we've had.
Maybe they'd do my driveway if I talked to them.
They might.
That'd be good. Okay, Portland Water. I'm not hooked up to Portland Water. I just had a well put in, and then all of a sudden they're laying pipe. So I understood there was an issue with that. If the sidewalk goes in, we can't hook up to Portland Water. Anybody know about that?
There wouldn't be any issue.
Why,
No.
why would there be an issue?
I don't know.
No?
That's why I'm asking.
No?
Yeah.
I mean, it might be the opportunity to hook up when they have that all torn up.
Yeah, the cost would be increased if you had to,
Yeah,
you know,
cut through a sidewalk.
cut through a sidewalk and curbing, but it's not impossible. If you wanted to do it, though, the time, as Joe indicates, would be during construction.
I think we have stubs on the front lawns, don't
Well,
we?
if you have a stub, that should take it to the property line, right, Owens?
Don't we?
Yeah, if
So
you
you should
have
be
a
all
gate
set.
valve, usually if it's already stubbed out, there'll be a shut-off valve at the property line. If the shut-off valve there, you connect to that shut-off valve, and that's your water.
Yeah. So we have a shut-off valve on the front lawn?
I don't know if you don't. I
You would-
thought you said I thought you said there was one. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I felt I did, but
You would have had to paid for it. When
Oh, I
they came
would've.
through the water line, you would have had to pay for the stub to go onto your property. That would have been something when they did the water line. And there was some rumor kicking around, well, DOT actually has a rule, they have a moratorium on new asphalt, new
5
paving,
years.
stuff like that. It's a 5-year moratorium. That they will not allow you to cut, and then it becomes a permit fee after that. But the sidewalk is something the municipality is gonna own, not the state. So it wouldn't be under their rule.
Maybe this will help you a little bit. As this goes forward, we notify the Portland Water District. They get a copy of all the plans. They get to review it. If you have interest at that point in time to go on to public water, that would be the time to ask the water district about doing it.
yeah, I think it would be nice if the town let the affected landowners know when there's something happening. That would be appreciated. You know, I just found out about this. Also, I have a telephone pole on my property. What's the deal with that?
Again, when we get into the design of it, the power company, the telephone companies are notified, and if it's required because of the location of the sidewalk, then we would coordinate with them to relocate a pole.
Who pays for that relocation? Does the town?
My understanding is, and Don, maybe you can help me, but I think it's if it's a municipal project and it's within the right-of-ways, the member utility pays for the removal.
Correct.
Another thing, I'm retired. I thought you ought to know that.
You look so young.
Yeah, I know it. I know it. Yeah, but I get a lot of sit time looking out the window and watching the cars go by, and what people there are. And like Judy says, I don't see a lot of activity. And reference the speed limit. Maybe we need more signs. You know, I'm very aware of fast cars going down through there, plus dirt bikes, plus snow machines in the winter. And I'm thinking that if we have a sidewalk, they'd be more comfortable buzzing down the sidewalk than in the street. They might figure it's legal on the sidewalk or less illegal. You know, I think it might encourage them to go down the sidewalk.
Well, it is illegal and it's an enforcement issue. I mean, you know, if people are gonna ride dirt bikes and four-wheelers and snowmobiles down Main Street, they're breaking the law.
Yeah, well, they do it when we get a nice storm.
Yeah.
It's a daring thing. Also, how wide is the street? How many rods?
I think the right-of-way is, I think it's a 3-rod road. I'll have to double check. I'll have to look at the survey plan. I can't tell you that for sure. I'll have to look at the survey.
You don't know that.
Well, I do. I can look it up if you want me to right now.
Well, maybe if you have some idle time, because I'm going to get out my measuring stick. I have a granite mailbox post that, with great difficulty, I put it in because I thought it'd be kind of neat, the only one in the village. So where are the mailboxes going to go? They've got to go on the street side of the sidewalk, right?
So mailboxes will, if they're in the area of construction, they get removed and they get reset. And we'll have to coordinate with the post office on where they get, it's pretty normal during the process.
Well, it's about an 8-foot long piece of granite, which is.
As far as that goes, you may want to check that. That's, I think the MDOT calls that a DFO, a deadly fixed object, something that will withstand a crash. For a mailbox post is not a good thing from a liability standpoint.
Yeah,
Very bad thing.
They'll actually, if they know about it, they'll.
Yeah, if they knew about that, they'd require you to remove that.
And you just stated it publicly.
But no, the idea being, if you hit it with a motor vehicle, you know, that's a obstacle that won't move, and it's a bad thing.
Well, so isn't a tree.
Right,
know?
but we're not going to cut every tree. We can avoid putting in steel I-beam and granite and things like that in the right-of-way.
Put it next to the telephone pole.
Yeah.
Attach it to the telephone pole. I mean, I'm not telling you to take your post out. I'm just saying that that's not recommended.
Well, I wouldn't be able to take it out. Also, behind it, on the lawn, been there since 1900s, 2 pieces of granite sunk into the lawn. I don't know how long they are. And I put one in between to plant flowers in. You know, what's up? Is that going to go bye-bye?
Not if it's on your property.
Yeah, it's not in the right of way.
Well, I think like in a lot of cases, I think the road comes to you. When this is an old house, and I've got pictures of that when we had a dirt road through the village. And obviously, the road's been improved, and so I think the roads just grow. That's why I wanted to know how wide the road was.
Well, there's 2 things to consider. There's the width of the paved section of the road.
Yeah.
And the width of what is the public right-of-way, what is owned by the DOT. And those 2 widths are different, so.
That's correct.
I'm gonna give Don a copy of the survey plan. You can look at it in his office and see where your point. I'm not sure what house. I know you gave the address, but I'd have to spend a few minutes to find where your house is. But you can take a look at the plan where Don is and kind of see where your house is, which one it is.
Okay. Also, when they put, there's a hydrant there too, which is good for the insurance. And when they put that in, they took out my property stake. That was good. That's nothing to do with you guys, but now if I have a disagreement with my neighbor, I'd have to have it surveyed to prove where it should be. I think it's probably now the hydrant, but I don't know. Okay, I think that is it for now. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Richard Pierpont, 25 Main Street. A lot of my questions have been answered or addressed. We've lived in the town for probably 35 years or so, and there isn't a lot of traffic going up and down Main Street. It's one of those things where I think is, I don't know, if you build it, they might come. I don't know. I mean, there's not a lot of people going up and down the street, so I don't know what the town is going to get out of this. If we don't go ahead with the sidewalk now, I mean, like right now, do we owe the state any money back, or?
Not yet.
No, not yet. Okay. All right. I'm probably neither here nor there about the sidewalk. Probably have a few questions about it. When it comes to my driveway, I have a dirt driveway. Will that be pavement going across my dirt driveway now, or will the sidewalk end and it be dirt and come back up the sidewalk on the other side? Do you have any idea?
Yeah. So when we build the sidewalks, if you have a gravel driveway and our sidewalk's paved, there'll be a paved apron that will go all the way across your driveway.
Okay, all right. Okay, does the town have any figures of what it's going to cost to plow this thing every year?
I have not. We'd take the footage that he's doing right now would be easily calculated just by the footage what he's doing right now to what we're gonna be adding to it.
Okay,
We pay, it's around $2,500 a year to snow blow the 302 stuff. This should be more than $400 or $500 a year to add to it.
my main concern, I guess, not so much the sidewalk, would be with the Portland Water District and, that line that goes down Main Street. We're not hooked up to the water, and I think what I'm hearing is if they put this sidewalk in, is there like a 5-year moratorium for going across that sidewalk? Or?
No, what I said, DOT owns that section of Main Street. And by their rule, if they came in and paved that road, they would put a 5-year moratorium on the road. The town of Raymond's gonna own the sidewalk, so that doesn't fall into their DOT rules.
Yeah.
We don't have a moratorium on any of our paving or our sidewalks right yet, or I don't see it coming. So I would like to try to make sure that anybody that has plans to hook up, we do it when we go by. It gets done before we put the sidewalks in. But if somebody's well fails and they've got to put one in and they don't have one, it is what it is. They're going to have to cut it and put it in.
Yeah, okay.
I don't believe, we're not going to be into DOT's road. They're not going to slap us with a moratorium on this, are they?
I'm making a note to ask.
I don't think they will.
I'm just gonna double check with the DOT. They own it, but the way these funds work is you build it to a standard, the town owns it and is responsible for it. The DOT will not take over maintenance of it. So if they give you money to do a project, you're now responsible for it. So I'll just double check to see if
That should
be
fall
under
our
you.
rules, I
Yeah,
think.
but I'm gonna check.
Don, were you able to check on the Portland Water District, whether there was a fee that was coming back to the town? When they originally put the line in, I thought there was like, and I don't know the figure, I thought it was like I had to pay like a $3,000 fee to the town to hook up to the water, then I pay Portland Water District and they'll cut in and then bring it up to my house, and after 10 years that fee would go away. Do you have any idea what happened?
We tried to research that, and going back now for 15 years.
Yeah.
And I think before we turned it over to the district, I think you're correct. There was a fee to the town, but now it's all district administered.
Okay.
So we turned the infrastructure over, so all the costs for connection are now with the district.
Okay.
But I think you're correct. Well, in the initial, go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I don't remember what the fee was.
Yeah,
but there
I don't
was a
either.
common fee.
I was just throwing the
But
number
before we
out.
turned it to the district, I think that was right, but now it's their asset, not ours.
Right, okay, all right. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions, comments?
Just a brief one.
Okay.
You must have the layout of the water up through the town.
We don't
Yes.
have, do we have an as-built on that?
Oh, yeah.
You must.
Yeah, it's a district asset now, so it's nothing that we're ever going to be involved in, but if we don't have an as-built still kicking around the town office, we certainly can get one. But we're not gonna be excavating the water line.
Yeah, I understand.
That's not our
I'm just,
thing.
I would like to know whether I do have a stub on my
That's a
front
Portland
lawn.
Water District question.
You
Yeah.
could probably call the water district and ask, and they'll come out and let you know.
I
But-
would say you probably don't.
If
Yeah,
you didn't pay,
probably don't.
you don't have a stub.
Yeah.
You would have remembered it, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so, my final question, possibly,
Might be your final question.
might be, I'll try to think, on that road width, I'm supposed to get back to you, Don?
Owen said he would give me the layout, including the survey, and so I'll have that. When, Owens?
I'll send it to you. I'll just mail you a copy and put it in the mail tomorrow and also email you one, so a couple days.
I'm
Couple
gonna
of
go to
days.
Westbrook tomorrow, so I might pick it up.
Can
Yeah,
you
if come
call
by in the
me?
afternoon, I'll be there.
Sure, what's your number?
655-4079.
Right.
You can call me just to say hi, I don't get a lot of calls.
I think you've come in to say hi before.
Oh, I come in to see you, yeah.
4079. I guess we have another question.
Pretty sure that's three.
I would just like to thank the people that I called to tell them about the meeting tonight. I called 4, and they were all here. So thank you for coming, guys.
Well, thanks for letting us know about your concerns, and I think we can address most of them.
This may be just anecdotal. I said it at the public meeting. I guess I feel strongly about, the idea of pedestrian access, and worked really hard to do the 302 project when I first came here. It wasn't my project. I inherited it. There was a group of people that, had worked to make that happen. And to some degree, it is true. I mean, you're never going to see a sidewalk that's going to be overrun with walkers and people who are, using it for, either transportation or recreational purposes. But over time, people will use it, and it will promote a sense of community, a sense of, a village, more of a village setting. And in this part, you may not believe, but I have had some experience with this, and I've heard a lot of these arguments and a lot of other arguments, and not to say they aren't, good and valid arguments, but in the long run, people say that it has improved the quality of life, the quality of place, and that it is an improvement to the property, and it's an improvement that we're not going to tax you on. And so young families, older people like to walk, they like to have the safety, and the principal users in many instances of these sidewalks are the people that abut them. So I think if you can give it some thought, and we'll work very diligently to make sure that we do everything in the best possible way and to come up with a quality product, I think it'll be a good thing and something you enjoy.
Well, the problem is you can't walk up through to the other end of the village. You get to 121 and now you're on somebody's lawn or in the street or something.
Well, you can walk, though. The 302, it's going to connect to the 302 sidewalk, and I mean, I was on it this weekend, and there were people using it, walked from the beach up to the shopping plaza, Tassel Top, and I'm not saying we counted hundreds of people, but we counted more than a few people walking. So I think it will inspire some use, and I think it would be something that the neighbors could enjoy, people who live in the village could enjoy.
Does everybody get the website, the town website? You'll be notified of any future meetings like this on that.
Yeah, the
On
next
the
thing.
website, I'm very embarrassed that we have not.
The next thing is it goes to town meeting.
Did you send a notice?
Yeah.
And I'd like to add that, I mean, we sincerely thought this project was pretty much done.
Yeah.
It was underfunded, it was done, and it was 4 weeks ago, I think.
That was
Yeah.
about a month ago.
About a month ago, we got notification that they were gonna fund the whole thing. And I felt, as I think everybody did, we owed it to the taxpayers to come forward and say, this is what we got in front of us, do you or don't you wanna do it? We're never gonna have this opportunity again. It's a $400,000 project that we probably would never fund locally. So we at least, I thought we owed it to everybody to look at it, so we could come up with and how it was gonna play out. But that's why we're kind of on a time crunch to get it to town meeting, and the rest of the stuff will come as far as the information that we need.
I had asked that we send a notice. Apparently, we didn't send a notice for whatever reason.
I didn't, I don't know if Mary or Kayla did.
Well, apparently they didn't. So I think we should send a notice to everybody on that strip for town meeting, right? So we'll do that, and so I don't know what happened there, but once again, I apologize. It's not to, believe me, we want the input, we want people to know, and so what we did do is advertise it in the way that we normally do on the, public posting places on the website, and, but we didn't send a personal invitation. I wanted that to happen tonight. I'll see that that happens for a town meeting. My apologies. That will happen.
Well, I let Mr. and Mrs. Gazelle know today, that's why everybody's here, I think.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me know, Earl. Yeah. I wouldn't have known, but I was listening in on one of his phone conversations.
You hacked in, huh?
I hacked in.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming out tonight, and hope
Thank you.
we answered some of your questions. All right, I'm gonna skip over C and D and go to GP Cog so we can get Nathan out of here at some point. So, why don't you give us what you have, Nathan?
Well, doing a little research on GP Cog, well, the history on GP Cog for me, been hit or miss of what we use for GP Cog. Our primary product was the road salt. And I had a little trouble finding a salt company that would guarantee me delivery, guarantee me testing, and guarantee me the product that we needed. And I was only dealing with the two that we dealt with through GP Cog. And I found a company there out of Searsport that does the DOT salt. It's all DOT spec salt. They're more than happy to take us on. They would not give me any pricing until GP Cog was out. Outside of that, the road signs, road striping, cutting edges, and all those other companies that we use are more than happy to deal with us outside of GP Cog. So
At the same pricing level?
at the same pricing level, if not better. I've done better over the years on my plastic culvert piping going outside of GP Cog. Not a lot of money, but when you're buying $10,000 worth of culvert pipe, 10 cents a foot's quite a bit of money. We bought them actually from Paris Farmers Union for the last 10 years, our local the new store right down there in Raymond.
Nice.
So
Good.
that's where I'm at on it. I don't personally care either way it goes now.
Yeah. As long as we're on GP Cog, I should tell you also that we got a proposal. It's not a formal thing yet, but I think it's going to be, where they want to, over a couple-year period, double the dues. And so I have spoken to Joe about it. We're concerned about it as a town. Some of our neighboring towns are concerned about it. I think that before they double the dues, they ought to come up with a new work plan that adds value to the Lake region, adds value to our town. And we have had meetings with them, visioning meetings, to say what it is we're interested in. And one of the big things, of course, is economic development support. We're interested in broadband. We're interested in support that would enable us not to have to add staff for some of these specialized items. And so I think they're thinking about that. I think they're working on that. But to come up with a plan to double the dues, even over a 2-year period, I think before they have something that gives us real value, I'm not supportive.
Yeah.
And so so it kind of came on the heels of this, so I thought I should tell you about that as well. And so it looks like they're finding a way to try to grow the revenue stream and perhaps offer new services. But I think maybe a better way to do it would be to start to offer some services that would, inspire us to want to contribute more.
Double dues would be around 10,000, right?
No, well, not, yeah,
90.
Yeah.
300. Yeah. I've never seen the value of GP Cog, to be honest with you. I just think it's another government organization that does nothing except pay their executive director a lot. That's just me. You know how I am.
No.
I know. I'm pretty cynical at times.
You liberals are all.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, if we're able to get all the same services for better pricing, I don't understand why you would pay almost $9,500 to be a member.
The only wild card I had was the salt. And trucking's gonna be more money from Searsport. Even if it's $1 more a ton, you're only talking $1,000 more on top, or 10
For a year.
Yeah, for a year.
Yeah.
So I just don't see it.
I think we simply go by price, what we're getting,
Yeah.
ROI.
Any questions for Nathan, or?
It's Nathan's birthday. Happy birthday, Nathan.
No way, Nathan.
Yeah,
May
another
9th,
another year
huh?
older, yeah.
But of
You
course,
don't look any older than Nathan.
I feel it every
I still
morning.
remember you as a kid, Nathan.
Yeah, yeah.
Did the town give you the day off today?
No.
no. But the joke I have with Nathan, of course, is, you know, when we hit a hard meeting or whatever, and this was,
Every meeting he says, oh,
he
it's your
says it's his
birthday
birthday. He
again.
has about 3 a year, a couple, 3 anniversaries.
All right, Nathan, go home, get some
Okay,
rest.
thank you very much.
Thanks, appreciate it. All right, let's get back up to the tax abatement requests. I think we have 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So the total abatement would be $4,200?
Yeah, 4203, yeah.
Yeah, 29. All right, you wanna make a motion on these? We gotta do them one at a time.
Okay. I move to approve the abatement of Pine Tree Realty Trust. It's account number S2140R. The abatement is 22/31/24. $2,231.24.
I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Next.
Move to approve the abatement of the property of, owned by Bruce Mail, care of Mark Raven, who is the applicant. 137 Laurel Street, Melrose, is his home address. Account number DO130R. The abatement amount is $1,901.25.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous.
Move to approve the abatement of Linda Eldridge, 52 Crockett Road, Raymond. Account number E0280R. The abatement number is $70.80.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, we did all the abatements. You have a quick claim deed now. If I can find it.
I think we sent. They already have.
The rough sign?
Yeah, they already signed it.
Okay, we're good. So we have the quick claim deed.
Right.
Is that that's the, oh, that is the quick claim.
Correct. They've already gone ahead and signed it.
Okay. I gotta find it. Too much paperwork.
If you go to the top and click on the table of contents, it'll take you there.
Thank you, Sue.
Jim, you just take it.
Yeah. just read it
Okay,
off.
so this is, we have a quitclaim deed for David G. Glikos, and so all of taxes and costs, penalties, and so forth have been paid in full and satisfied. This is map 030, lot 02000000, and so it's ready to be released.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Go ahead. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. All right, network administrator contract, Don.
Okay, as you instructed during the, I believe it was during the budget process, we have gone to a straight contract with our network administrator at the amount of money that was outlined in the budget, $80,000 per year for network administration, for television broadcast operations, and so that's the extent of the cost, and it's in a form that was developed and submitted to the town by the town attorney, and has been reviewed by the town and the contractor, and is just awaiting your approval for, and then it will be executed.
This is a 3-year contract at $80,000 a year,
Correct.
and he will be a 1099.
Right.
He's no longer an employee of the town.
Right.
So I need a motion to approve the contract.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. All right, you can sign away.
Okay, I'll wait till I have my Kevin and my notary, I guess.
I'm a notary.
I guess it just, I guess it doesn't even have a place for that, so I guess I could do
don't think you
it.
need a notary.
I guess I could. Normally there's a witness or a notary, but, okay.
All right, next is approval of the warrant for RSU 14. It came in at what, a 4% increase, 3.88, something like
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Won't know the complete figures.
So the validation vote is,
On May 24th, they'll go through the budget,
Yeah.
and then on the 13th is the validation vote.
so I need a motion to accept this warrant.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. We are at public comment now. Anybody want to make any public comments? Jess?
Good evening. I just wanted to stop in and give a little update on what's happening or not at the State House. Very briefly, of interest, I think most, if not all, of the secession bills were voted either ought not to pass unanimously or ought not to pass. And I don't see them seeing the light of day, at least this year. Today, the House passed a bill that adds a 5-cent tax to the little nips. So if you're walking along the road and you see them, in the next, I guess it'd be 90 days after we adjourn, you can probably pick those up and return them, which would be nice since apparently they're a huge litter problem. Let's see. And I'm very happy to report that my first bill, LD 357, which increased the fine for dumping septic waste overboard from your boat, passed both houses and, believe it or not, was actually signed by the governor today.
Congratulations.
That's
Your
a good
first bill.
too.
Yeah, my
That's
first bill. And that was a
Being a
bipartisan
boat
bill. And a lot of members of the Lakes Region delegation were co-sponsors, and I worked with Representative Sebra on that issue. So we're happy to do that. An update on the age-friendly community, which is something that Raymond and Casco residents are thinking about, and I think the conversation about the sidewalk might play into the age-friendly community conversation. There's a group of residents, we're just getting started talking about what an age-friendly community in Raymond and Casco might look like. We had our first meeting. We had Jess Maurer, who's the executive director of the statewide agency on aging, which is the umbrella group of the agencies on aging, came and gave a very nice presentation. And there seems to be some energy behind it, and we're going to have another meeting on the 19th, which is a Friday, May 19th at 3 o'clock at the Public Safety Building, which is a terrible time for people who work. But if you're retired, would love anybody, members of the Select Board, members of the community to come and join us and share your thoughts. And it's a process, and it'll take a while to figure out where we want to go. And last but not least, I just want to put my email out there, which is jessica.fay, F-A-Y, @legislature.maine.gov. And I hope that anybody, anytime they have questions, concerns, shoot me an email. I'm pretty good about responding. So there you are.
Thanks,
Good.
Jess. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
You've been very busy.
Ain't seen nothing yet.
I
They keep putting off the hard stuff.
Yep. All right, confirm dates for next meetings.
Yes, so May 18th is a special selectmen's meeting to consider insurance bids.
Yep.
And that's at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, yep.
And we have our regular selectmen's meeting on June 20th. That's later in the month due to the town meeting and election day, and that will be at 6:30.
Yep.
And then we have a reminder of upcoming budget and election schedules. On May 24th, we have the RSU 14 validation vote at 6:30 at Wyndham High School. On June 6th, we have annual town meeting at 6 p.m. at the Jordan Small Middle School Gymnasium. On June 13th, we have the town election and state referendum election from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Jordan Small Middle School Gymnasium. Reminder of upcoming holiday schedule, Monday, May 29th, Memorial Day.
Are the absentee ballots out yet?
I haven't received the state, or no, I just received.
You just got the state.
today.
The RSU won't be out until after the validation vote, right?
I can send them out, I can't receive them back until the 25th, so I
Right.
don't send them out until then. But I also don't have any requests as yet, so that makes it easy.
All right. Treasurer's warrant. Who's in charge of that?
We don't have our warrant guy tonight.
There you go.
Move the treasurer's warrant at $224,405.31.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. All right. I need a motion to go into executive session for 8B. We're going to skip 8A until the June 20th meeting.
So moved.
No, you have to.
Second.
You actually have to
Okay.
spell it out.
All right, let's see.
Pursuant to Title 1, subsection 405-6F, to review consideration and award of scholarship applications.
Okay, which are we, okay, so we're
We're doing 8B.
8B, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, move to go into executive session to consider the award of scholarship applications pursuant to MRSA 1, subsection 405, 6, subsection F.
Have a second?
Second.
Moved and second, any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
So let me do a job, thank you.
Sure, come on in.
Motion to come out of executive session?
Second.
All in favor? Need a motion?
Motion move. There were 7 applicants for 3 did not have complete applications, so we've elected to, we're moving to $1,000 scholarship to the remaining 4.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous? Congratulations to those people that turned in complete applications. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much.
Great.